Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of the most brilliant, most perfectly planned betting heists in history. And I mean heist in quotes here, because the amazing part of this story is how one man took the system for millions right out in the open and did it all completely legally.
I mean, that's the ultimate riddle, right? How do you pull that off? Well, one guy figured it out. He didn't need a gun, he didn't need a getaway car, nope. His weapons were a horse that everyone thought was terrible, a single payphone, and just a really, really deep understanding of how to exploit the system's biggest weakness. Let's dig into how he did it. So, let's set the scene. Imagine you're at this small, kind of sleepy horse racing track in the Irish countryside. It's buzzing, the way a race day does. You've got people placing bets, bookies yelling out odds. Everything seems normal. But under the surface, something absolutely wild is about to go down.
And this is where it starts to get weird. See, the guy behind this whole thing, the mastermind, he's not in the stands, he's not by the track with all the big shots. No, he's hiding in a patch of thorny bushes, watching the whole thing through a pair of binoculars. Meanwhile, his right-hand man is about to seize control of what was, believe it or not, the single most important piece of tech at the entire track. So who is this guy in the bushes? His name was Barney Curley, and let me tell you, Barney wasn't just any gambler. This guy was so notorious, so feared by the bookmakers, that they literally shut down their stalls when they saw him coming. To really get how his plan worked, you first have to understand what made Barney Curley tick.
Barney was always one step ahead. Even as a kid, get this, his own father had this little scheme where he drug his slowest greyhound to get it to win a race. Well, a 15-year-old Barney finds out about the plan, secretly gives the drugged meat to a different dog, puts his own bet on that dog, and ends up beating his own dad at his own crooked game. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. The guy was born clever. Fast forward to 1975, though, and Barney wasn't just playing around anymore. He was in deep, deep trouble. We're talking 12,000 pounds in debt, which back then was an enormous amount of money. He was cornered, he was desperate, and you know what they say about desperation. It was about to spark one of the most incredible schemes ever. So, with financial ruin staring him in the face, did Barney Curley panic? No way. He plotted. He started to build, piece by piece, what would become his masterpiece, a plan designed to twist the very rules of horse racing against itself. Let's take a look at the blueprint for this so-called legal robbery.
Okay, first you got to understand a little something about horse racing called handicap racing. It's pretty simple, actually. To make things fair, the really good, fast horses are forced to carry extra weight. The idea is to slow them down just enough so that, in theory, every horse has an equal chance to win. A horse's handicap, that extra weight, is all based on how well it's done in the past. And this system, this is what Barney Curley was about to exploit beautifully.
So his plan had 4 key pillars. It was pure genius. Pillar 1, the horse. He found a pretty good horse named Yellow Sam, and then he deliberately made him look terrible. He'd enter him in races on tracks or ground that he knew the horse hated, so of course he'd lose. That totally tanked his official rating. Pillar 2, the handicap. Because his rating was now so low, Yellow Sam would get a huge advantage in a handicap race, very little extra weight. Pillar 3, the location. This is crucial. He picked the Belltowns track for one reason. It only had a single public phone line. And finally, Pillar 4, the army. He secretly recruited about 300 people all over Ireland, all just waiting for a signal to place their bets at the exact same time.
All right, so the stage is set, the pieces are all in place. Let's jump to race day and see the execution. And you have to feel the tension here. Curley had scraped together 15,000 pounds, literally every last penny he could find, and put it all on this one bet. If this thing failed, he wasn't just broke, he was completely ruined.
And this is where the details are just chef's kiss. About 25 minutes before the race starts, Curley's friend, a guy named Benny, casually walks up to that one and only phone booth. He gets inside, picks up the phone, and starts this loud, super dramatic, completely fake conversation about his poor dear aunt who's on her deathbed. He's wailing, he's crying, and he's tying up the phone line while a queue of annoyed bookies is forming behind him, totally unable to make their calls.
And because that phone line was blocked, the bookies at the track were totally cut off from all the other betting shops around the country. They had no way of knowing that at that very moment, Curley's army of 300 agents was swarming those other shops, all placing bets on Yellow Sam. The on-site bookies were completely in the dark.
And here's why that matters so much. Since the track bookies couldn't get any warning calls about the flood of money coming in, the odds on Yellow Sam, this horse that everyone thought was a dud, never changed. They stayed frozen at a juicy 20-1. That was the linchpin of the whole plan. If those odds had crashed, the payout would have been tiny in comparison.
The second the race started, Benny dramatically hangs up the phone, wipes away his fake tears, and just melts back into the crowd. That's it. The bets are in. The trap is sprung. There's no turning back. All that's left is for Barney Curley, hidden in those bushes, to watch and hope to God that his horse is about to run the race of its life.
So everything, months of planning, all his money, his entire future, it all came down to a 2-minute horse race. So did it work? Let's talk about the payoff.
Oh, it worked. Yellow Sam didn't just win. He absolutely demolished the competition. This horse that everyone had written off just blitzed the field, winning by a comfortable 2.5 lengths. It was a spectacular victory. From his little hideout in the bushes, Barney Curley knew he had done it.
So what was the final score? That $15,000 investment, thanks to those 20-1 odds, turned into a staggering £300,000. For 1975, that was an almost unbelievable, life-changing amount of money.
Just to give you some perspective, in today's money, Barney Curley walked away with about $3.5 million, all from a single horse race and one flawless, brilliant plan.
And the aftermath? Well, it was immediate chaos. The bookies were freaking out, realizing they had been played perfectly. They had to pay Curley his winnings in 108 giant sacks filled with cash. Overnight, Barney Curley became a legend, a folk hero, and maybe most importantly, the whole betting industry had to change its rules forever, putting in safeguards so that a heist like this could never, ever be repeated.
So what do you make of all this? Barney Curley found a loophole, a tiny crack in the system that nobody else even knew was there. He didn't rig the race, he just rigged the information about the race. Which leaves you with this really cool question to think about. Was he a genius gambler who just played the game better than the house? Or was he a master manipulator who twisted the system to his advantage? You know, maybe the answer is he was both.